My clip for this week is an amazing clip. Finally, it's been decided who the world's fastest accountant is.
As if the title World's Fastest Accountant wasn't a dead giveaway. He only started track 4 years ago, at age 26, playing in a football Sunday league, when his friend pushed him to give sprinting a serious try. It was something he's always liked, but he'd never given a proper effort. And Bing Bang Bosh, 4 seasons later, battling quite a bit of injury, he's gotten his time from 10.93 to 9.93. So clearly a very talented athlete, considering his first 100-meter time at 26 was 10.93. From his interviews, he's generally just chuffed to be competing and meeting some cool people, especially at the big events he's attended so far. Which is, really refreshing. A lot of other athletes have been in the sport so long, it doesn't seem like they emit a lot of gratitude. They're kind of used to being the top, and it's not necessarily arrogant, but it really has become a job for them. There's a cool study I read a while ago, where elite athletes who start at a later age usually peak later and end their career later. So in saying that, don't give up, fellas.
Eugene Amodadze, who took up athletics at the age of 26, is now fourth on the all-time British 100-metre list, despite being a full-time accountant. And I read, I sent it to Mike and Steph, I read a great piece on the BBC website where he's got a full-time job, and he says if Nike or Adidas or Asics or New Balance, Puma, if anyone fancies giving me a sponsorship deal, I'd love that, because I am hoping to go to the World Championships.
Anyway.
Yeah. So but he was basically the fastest player in his Sunday league
British
team.
Knights.
Knicks.
Anyone Gola, I'll have a
High tech.
Kangaroos.
I'll wear a pair of high tech Silver Shadows on the track.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
So he was the fastest player in his Sunday league team, having shown an aptitude for athletics as a youngster. He ran 100 metres 11.3 as a schoolboy, but didn't stick at it.
That's fast, but it's not silly fast, you know what I mean?
No, like Gareth Bale did it in 11.3 when he was 14, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he only did it once timed, because he wasn't really that interested in athletics. So he was content to be the fastest player in World Sunday League. And his mates just said, why are you doing this? Like, you're burning past fullbacks every Sunday, playing on Hackney Marshes. Why on earth can you not just give proper athletics a go? And untrained, I think he was doing it in like 10.8 or something. And then his times have just been coming down progressively over the last couple of years or so.
I think his first time in the race was 10.3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A year later was doing 9.9. No, 10.9 to 9.9, wasn't it?
Yeah, 9.93 is his fastest. And he's like, I hope to break 10 seconds again, but obviously the first time you do it is special. And it's quite interesting because obviously he's got a full-time job and he's 30 years of age. So he said my head's screwed on in a way that it wouldn't have been if I'd discovered athletics when I was 18 or if I'd been doing this when I was a teenager. Like, he's had a life, he's done stuff. Like, I met Luke Littler yesterday because we had him on Fancy Football League.
Yeah.
And obviously, because he does look older than his age, you forget he's a schoolboy.
Yeah.
And, he was there with his social media manager, his PR person, his agent, his mum was with him, I think, and his security team.
Driving instructor.
Yeah, he can't drive. And he was lovely, Luke. I really liked him, but he just seems to take everything in his stride and is just not bothered by anything, because I think, I suspect he can't quite believe it's happening to him. And he's a really lovely person. But this guy's 30, so it's completely different. It's like the opposite of the Luke Littler story. Because he is able to work at it, I think, and he won't be jaded by athletics like most athletes are by the age of 30, because he's
Well, that was the interesting bit for me. What they said, the people who start later will peak later. And will retire later. They'll just, they're probably in the sport for the same amount of time.
Yeah.
But it just all shifts. And that he is, if you're a top level athlete by the time you're 30, the traditional route, you've been doing it since you were 9 or 10 years of age.
Yeah, and as a sprinter,
it becomes a job and a pain in the arse and everything else. But for him, he's just thrilled, isn't he? He's got such a great attitude. He's loving it. And that counts for something, doesn't it? Because you put the hours in for training. If you're working a full-time job and then doing the training for that on top of it.
Yeah.
And just loving, it's blowing his mind that he's surrounded by Diamond League athletes.
Yes.
And he's a full-time accountant.
He's the joint fourth fastest British male of all time. He's the fastest. He's got the fastest European time this season so far. He's the joint 13th fastest man in the world this year. And there's only one other British athlete who's done under 10 seconds this year. They stumbled across a local
Alan's got to up his
meeting.
game, really, hasn't he?
I was going to say Alan, the accountant.
Alan, needs to up his game.
He needs to really get going here.
He stumbled across a local track meeting after playing football, and they were watching the 100 metres, and his mate turned to him and said, "Why don't you just, if you put spikes on, you would beat these. Why don't you just give it a go?" And he was like, "Well, all right."
Fair play to him and his mate, then.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting though, isn't it? Like you're doing the football probably because you're around people and your mates, and it's the easier route in a way. Darren Campbell did it for a while when he was playing sort of League of Wales football and just wasn't really concentrating on the sprinting.
Yeah.
And then a similar sort of conversation happened with his teammates where they were like, "What's the point of what you're doing? You are fast as fuck. Why don't you just concentrate on that?
Yeah.
Knuckle down."
Well,
And
I
then
met Stuart
Olympic gold
Broad
medal.
yesterday because he was on
wow.
Fancy League.
Yeah.
And Stuart now can play five-a-side, and he
course.
loves football. Like he's
Yeah.
a massive Forest fan. He used to
Yeah.
ask the umpire for updates on how Forest were getting along during test matches.
They should be concentrating more.
I know, that's what I said.
I
It's so
assume an
funny.
umpire hasn't got an earpiece
He'd be
in
going
these-
to the say,
listening to that. Surely they're talking to the...
His batting average now
Must
makes
be
more
brilliant.
sense, to be honest.
Yeah, what is it? Can you find out how Forest are getting on against Coventry? And then three deliveries later, they're losing 2-0. You'd be like,
Just appealing the whole time so that he can talk to the third umpire.
But
How's that? What's
Stuart
the score?
loves football and hasn't been allowed to play since he was at school in case he got injured, and now he can do it. And this, Eugene is in a sort of similar sort of boat, but the other way round, really. And so he said, yes. So his mate said, "Listen, if you put a pair of spikes on, you would beat these guys." And he planned to join the athletics team when he went to university.
I love this
but
story.
student life got in the way.
Life just
On the
happened, man.
piss.
Love it. Went to Freshers Fair, walked round, saw that, thought, that'll be fun. I'll sign up. Nothing about it after that.
It's incredible. So his mates used to take the piss out of him when he was playing football because they were like, "Yeah, why are you bothering with this when your destiny is clearly elsewhere?" Also, can you imagine trying to mark him on a Sunday morning hungover? And bloody Killian
You'd be
and
holding
Mbappe's
his
running
shirt.
past you.
Isn't it weird when you're that quick? 'Cause the difference in running a 10-second 100 and say an 11.5-second 100
Yes.
is massive,
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's only a second and a half over the length of a field.
Yes.
And you're never going to get anywhere near that speed in a game of football because you've only got sort of 5, 10, 15, 20 yards to run.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much difference that extra second of pace makes on a football. Because or rugby, you can see it when a winger gets a ball and they're gone.
Yes.
You think, fuck, he's quick or she's quick, right? But it's so fractional, isn't it? It's not a huge difference over the length of a field. It might be 10 yards over the length of a field.
Yeah.
But then break that down on that short burst and see that bit of space, and you're gone.
Yeah.
Because you've only got to beat someone by at that level 6 inches, and you're gone.
Yeah.
And that's the difference in being in really quick. We talked about people like Michael Owen. They were never the same player when they lost that little bit of speed. Because even though it's a little bit of speed,
Yes,
it's massive.
yes.
That little bit's massive.
Well, he was never really the same after the age of 18, sadly, because he had that awful hamstring tear when he was 18, having already had fantastic 2 years, and he was never the same after that. But we've discussed it loads of times. There is something about naked pace in team sport that's just so exciting. And it's exciting when you watch like Keith Jarrett scoring that try in the 60s. Just watching it, even whether it's black and white or whether it's modern, there's something, the pace is just... I love watching quick...
Well, I've got into not a
footballs.
spat this last week or two. People talking about Louis Rees-Zammit again, right? And it's this. The one fellow was like, "Oh, thing is that he's not that quick, and he's in a league now where players much quicker than him. Where lots of people are much quicker than him. I said, that's wrong on every level. Because he is that quick.
Yeah.
And if you look at his miles per hour speed, it matches the fastest bloke in the combine this year.
Yeah.
You know, and he would be, I said, he'd be in the top 4 or 5 players in the league for speed. And those players are all offensive players. So, of course, it is a factor that he's the quick. And he is really quick. You saying that, there's people in the NFL with sprinter's pace. We've got sprinter's pace.
Yes.
What do you think he's doing? If he's running at 24 miles an hour, mate, that is quick.
Yeah.
That's as quick as any of the lads coming through now at 21, 22 years of age in the combine.
Yeah.
I said if he doesn't make it won't because he's not quick enough.
I was going to say that's an odd thing to have picked up on, I would say, out of all the reasons why he won't make it, and I'm not saying he won't, but out of all the reasons why he potentially wouldn't make it, that's not top 5.
And also his physical attributes are the things that were never in question.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
other
why
stuff.
he's
the
there.
fact that
There'll be
he
playbooks and how you catch the ball and
Yeah.
routes.
Yeah. And the fact that he's grown up playing a different sport. That's the issue, not his physical capabilities.
Yeah.
That is an odd thing, isn't it? That's
You just get the experts then, don't you? And what it all boils down to is they don't like American football. I said, okay, well, that's fine. Don't watch it then. That's fine.
Perfectly fine. Yeah, exactly.
I said, well, why are they wearing helmets for? I said, well, do you watch horse racing or motocross or field hockey or ice hockey or skiing or bobsled or rock climbing or cycling or fucking triathlon?
Blue Peter.
Blue
Whatever it is. Whatever sport you're into.
Peter
They
needed
love a
more
helmet.
helmets.
They always pick on American football for the helmets. Plenty of sports wear helmets.
Yeah.
You know. Fucking weirdos.
People are odd.
Yeah. They get a right boner for it, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Boner for it.
I had a problem with helmets in NFL when I was a kid, but I don't know why anymore, because it's such a daft argument. I don't know why I was so...
I just thought it looked cool. I never had an issue with that
I
at
also
all.
they were mega cool, yeah.
There was a bubble gum that you could buy when I was a kid, and you got like little plastic helmets with it. And I had all them.
What were they?
I don't know what it was
you
called.
Still had them, pal. I had the Redskins one, that's all I had.
I had all of them, and I had some where I had a Patriots one where they put the wrong colour helmet in. So I think it was like it might have even been a Washington kind of colour, but with the Patriots sort of stickers on it.
Yeah.
I didn't even like bubblegum or chewing gum at the time, but brilliant.
Yeah.
Local post office in Castleton, bloody lovely. Loved it, mate.
Shout out. So someone's getting
Shout
free
out.
stamps.
It's not even there anymore. It's fine. It's like an SO garage or something like that.
The other thing I like about Eugene's story is that if you were a talented player or athlete or sports person as a kid, and then it doesn't happen for whatever reason, when you, to all intents and purposes, you are still young, but past the age when you need to have been discovered. There are people in pubs up and down the country thinking, "Oh, I could have done this. Or I could have done that." It's the right
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it didn't go for me, and blah blah. Now I'm 26, and I got an injury, or I wasn't picked, or this coach didn't like me, whatever. He is the proof that you can still do it at the age of 30, and most sprinters have peaked by then.
Yeah.
And he's peaking now, and I just love that. Because it's a proper fairy tale.
You're never too old to start anything, right? And you're never too old to keep going if you want to keep going. That's what I said to people.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to have a go at it and you're 30, you have a go at it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Well, people saying to you, I'm going to stop playing rugby this year. Why? I'm 30 now, so?
But I like the idea that people in his office, Eugene sort of, hiding his light slightly under a bushel, and someone will have watched the indoor championships or something like that on the weekend and come back in and went, fucking hell!
Yeah.
Have you seen how fast Eugene is?
9.93 as well.
Amazing. I know he's great on Excel, but we never knew he could run.
He could get quicker too. I mean, in theory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he has done the wear and tear. A lot of the stuff with sprinters is...
Yeah, as long as he's not around the time where tax returns come in, and he's fine, because that's not going to clash with the season much for him. Do you know what I mean? Like you might
They end up with mad injuries, sprinters, because of the pressure that it puts on the body. Really crazy injuries.
Constantly being ripped to shit.
Like loads of stress fractures in their spines and all sorts of like really weird stuff that you would never expect from
bits
sprinting.
falling off.
Shin splints.
The other thing is, athletics training actually looks horrible. I was walking past one of my
awful.
One of the guys who did the post-grad course a few years ago, who ran at the Olympics a little while back, and he's a 400-metre runner, and he was out on the track.
That's the worst one.
I was walking into work, and he was just on his haunches, just kind of sitting down, and I was like, "You all right, mate? How's it going?" And he went, "Just being," and then just threw up everywhere.
Whoa!
And I went,
we'll
I
think
later,
400-metre runners, I think that is the most punishing athletic event.
Yeah.
The way those boys train and girls train, when they're doing like 200 metres, limited recovery, all that sort of stuff. You're right on the sort of lactic acid threshold all the time as well.
Yeah.
And you're literally, how do you get up to train when you know you're going to throw up and it's going to be an agony?
You know you're going to throw up. And that
3
wasn't
times
the
a
end
week.
of the day. That was, come on, let's go do 3 more. No thanks. No thanks.
Briefly mention the rugby, right? And that was very, very briefly. I don't think we're fit enough. I don't think Wales are fit enough. We're dying off in the last 20 minutes game, which we went through a phase of. We did that for years, and then we became a real last 20-minute team. And now we just don't look fit. A lot of the boys don't look fit enough. I don't know what the conditioning side of things is like. I don't know.
But that must be the region's fault, mustn't it? Because the national team can't get you fit because you're not with them enough.
No, it shouldn't be a job. No.
But you can get people a lot fitter in 3 or 4 weeks, though. 5 or 6 weeks. Camps and stuff, you know what I mean? But, when you watch like a 400 is always the event I talk about. If you want to see someone go through brutal training, watch a 400-metre runner training.
Yeah.
It looks horrible.
Yeah. It is.
And at least in rugby, if you've got a conditioning team that brings the ball out and you're having a throw around with your mates and you're playing rugby or you're doing something with the ball, there's a skill, there's fun aspects to it. And you're outside and the wind's blowing, you're getting muddy and all that sort of stuff. That's quite cool, right? If you're on a track just doing 200-metre shuttles, throwing up, it's like in the pool. It's the same thing, up and down a pool, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Their mental focus is off the scale compared to mine.
Completely.
I wouldn't last more than one training session.
Bored. Going home. Bored.
Knackered.
Bored.
Sore.
Annoyed.
Can't eat enough.
Scared of the next one.
Frustrated.
I don't like you. I've gone right off you. You've lied to me. Just thrown up everywhere.
You told me there'd be slides. There are no slides.
You said it was the last one, Mike, and then you did another 3, you liar.
Just 3 more then, Mike. I've done those 3. 3 more, Mike.